Hey guys, Mark here. First time I've ever gone live on YouTube. Thanks for joining. I'm going to paint a seascape with a palette knife. And I'm just going to think of some tape. I want to go across the bottom so I have sort of like a straight line. Straight line for a horizon line. Try to get as straight as possible. And I'm not connected too much because I might, oops, start that again. Let me start that again. I don't want to get it too tight on here because then it might wreck the canvas. So I'm going to take some tape and go across. Tape, go across. It helps make a straight horizon, so you don't have to worry about it later too much. Just put it on there. So now we're going to have a reasonably straight horizon. So I'm going to take some white. I'm just going to start by painting the sky. Everything starts with white. A little bit of blue. That together. Make a really light blue color. Let's stay a little blue. Mix all the streaks. Take all the streaks out of it. And start to add in parts of the sky where we have blue. I want it a little bit lighter. Pull across. The blue sky is sort of peeking through the clouds, so these are the areas where we have blue sky. Bear with me because this is the first time I've ever gone live on YouTube, so just trying to kind of learn how to do this. I think I'll be able to see the comments. Kieran, thank you. Thanks for coming on also. Appreciate that. I'm going to do a little bit lighter there. A little more white. Some areas of blue can be a little darker, like up here. I don't want it to be too dark. We also use a cerulean blue for this, which would be nice. Gloss. You have to use a lot of paint because you're using the palette knife. You're putting the paint on thicker than if you were using a brush. Turns into almost like wet on wet technique because you're putting so much white on there, then you're working into the white. A little more white out of the 2D. Kieran. I hope so too. Hopefully it comes out pretty good. You never know when you paint a picture. Going in the same direction, this downward swipe with the palette knife. I don't want to press too hard because then you can damage the canvas also sometimes. I've done that a few times. Use a round motion too. It helps blend it in a little bit better. A little more white here, and thanks for being on. So we have pretty good coverage now. Now I want to get into some purple color. So I'm going to take some phthalo blue and some scarlet red and mix up a purplish color. This is lined up. See what you guys can see. Blue, red. We mix up a light purple. Very light purple. So to get that on there, that's a little bit too dark. Get a little lighter. That is too dark. Let me grab a little bit more light. 2B. So I can mix white into it even on the canvas. We'll lighten it up a little bit. Right? Take straight white almost. And mix it in. See, I can mix it right in there on the canvas. I've never gone live on YouTube, like I said. I've made videos of myself with a different camera. Watch all my other videos on here. Back years past. It's sort of like keeping a brush clean, but you have to keep the knife clean, so you don't lose control of the color you're trying to put on there. It's a little bit stormier than I want it to look, so put some white into it, into the purple. Mix it in. Using that round stroke that kind of helps to blend it. Make sure you get the paint off the other side of the knife. Grab a little more white out of the tube. It's good to buy a large tube of white. Sort of a stormy looking sky. I didn't intend it for it to be that stormy, but somehow the painting just kind of comes along on its own sometimes. More white, more white. I'm using almost just plain white, blending into it. You can decide how loose you want it to be or how blended. Gives your arm a good workout too. That's another good thing about this. Painted a picture similar to this a few years ago, a few years ago. Yeah, right in there. There's a lot of texture on there, isn't there? More white, all the way to the edge here. You can take paint off of one part of the painting and bring it to another part. There's a pretty good amount of texture right there. I kind of like how that looks. I like to have a little bit more pinkishness to it. So I'm gonna grab another plate. Mix it with white. Make sort of a pink color. Scarlet and white. So I want to have a little bit more pink in places and a little bit more white in places. First I'll mix the pink color. Bit of white, clean the knife to get all that glue off there so I can get a more of a pure pink color. White or red. So now I have a pink color. Let's sort of work that into the clouds. I like pink in paintings. It's a color that sells pretty well. So I try to use that when I can. Down here. I want to turn it on fire. Just want to kind of give a hint of pinkness. Maybe some trees and stuff over here, so I don't want to put too much over there. Like a lighter version of the lighter pink, and see how I kind of sort of put that in there. Not every stroke has to go the exact same direction. You can vary that a little bit too. Tap with the knife too, it's another thing. Tap it and sort of getting on that like that. So you have some pretty good texture in there. Looks good. And the place is going to be stronger clouds, and we just get some straight white in some places. Maybe right in here, see? Straight white. Straight white. Here to sort of balance it off a little bit. So I have different values of pink in there and white. It's kind of cool. Over here, I'll keep it nice and blended because there's going to be trees in the background. That. There's going to be some trees way in the background, palm trees, so we may mix up some purple color that's really, really light. Purple with almost all white. So I want them to look really far in the distance. Some purpley color. matter how light I want it to be, a little darker. All these days I'll have another camera on my palette so you can see that. Alright, so I have a very, very light purple. I'll start to tap in some trees way in the distance. Almost like you can barely see it right there. So it's the exact same color as the sky. Not too light because then you won't be able to see it at all. So I don't want it too textured either. I just want it to be in the distance. Yeah, there's some trunks coming up. You can see those way in the distance. A little. There's an air conditioner behind me. Sorry about that. I don't want that too distinct. Just trying to give the impression of trees way, way back there. And the top of these trunks, you see just tiny little indication, little palm trees. Just tap in a little. Indications way back there. It's just a really impressionistic way I think the palm trees are wrapping. Look like it's hanging down a little bit more there. Smooth it out a little bit. Higher on this edge. I don't want it to look like it's going down like that. I want it to move a little higher. All right, so I think I'll stop there. This will be part one of this painting. Next time we'll do the sea, the beach, a couple big palm trees up here, and we'll get there. Thanks for watching my first YouTube video. See you next time.